Hey, Justice Warriors, what's happening? Happy Monday. It is noon on the 16th of December, and I will give you guys a couple of minutes to come on in. I'll just get my stuff going here, like clean off my glasses, beg and plead with you to hit your like button and look over my notes. Mic check. Let's see if I should raise it up a little bit higher. Don't want to, you know me, I don't want to touch nothing. I don't want to mess up anything. And yeah, it's different every single day. You wouldn't think so. You would think that it's just the same every day, but life just isn't like that, right? It couldn't be that easy. And it looks like I have a little bit too much glare on my face. So I'm trying to figure out the light over here. Maybe I can throw something over that to make it less glary. Oh, just wrestling with the lights, wrestling with the sound, wrestling with YouTube. Can you even hear me? I think it's working. It looks like it's working. But until I know for sure, it looks like there's 2 people watching. There's 4 likes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking. If there's any way that you could just like hit the heart or make a comment, then I know that you can hear me for sure. It looks like you can hear me because the little thingamabob is moving. But, oh, yeah, Anna Bees. Hey, Jazz. Hey, everyone. I can hear you. Thank you, lady. You're the bomb. You're so cool. Thanks for being here. So I came on to talk to you guys about the whole Jay-Z mess. I've got some thoughts and beliefs, and I really want to share with you guys. I have been studying up. I mean, it's a whole world of information, and I fortunately started studying up many moons ago, like the beginning of 2024. So I've been deep diving P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, one and the same, Jay-Z, because, you know, they're twins. They're connected at the hip. Twinning, like, who does that? Grown men? No, grown men don't twin. And then R. Kelly, and really they were like the 3 Musketeers. And yeah, Aaliyah and Beyonce and all of them, they go way back. Eminem. I mean, Eminem doesn't like those guys, and I can only guess why. Okay. Oh, so just reading a message from a dear friend of mine. And what did I say? I was on Kelly Watts the Obsessions live last night, just at the end for a few minutes. And OMG, you guys, Anna B, I'm so sorry to even bring it up. I just want to like catch and kill. Lily Phillips, dear Lord, can you just pray for that girl? She's 23 years old. She's an OnlyFans problem. I can't even get into it. I happened to catch wind of it this morning, and I was just like, oh man, can you just like delete that out of my brain? Absolutely disgusting. Don't Google it unless you have a very strong stomach. So I don't think the lighting's that bad. I'm not going to mess with it because once I do, then it's just one thing after another. So the whole thing with the statement that was made by Jane Doe prior to the weekend. And then over the weekend, most people on YouTube were all like, oh yeah, man, it's over. She lied. No, she didn't lie, in my opinion. And let me do my disclaimer. It's okay to remember things differently. Not only is it okay, that's real life, especially when you're dealing with trauma, especially when you're dealing with 20 years, especially when you're dealing with a learning disability. I don't like to say disability, a learning challenge. What, she's autistic? This is not looking good for the perps, in my opinion. That's a very vulnerable kid. All kids are very vulnerable. A kid with a learning disability, Okay. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. And if you are, please check, make sure that you are still, and share a video of mine with someone that you think might like it. Notify yourself by turning on your bell to ring, like your little bell has a line through it. If you tap on that, click on that, it should notify you when I come on live or when I drop a video. Pretty much, I try to come on live every day, midday, and then pretty much I try to record a yin yoga practice routine in the evening and then upload that. So it's just kind of how it's evolved. That's where it's at right now. I'm always, I welcome feedback. I welcome constructive criticism. I have a zero troll policy. So just so you know, um, ain't nobody got time for that, right? Like, we're just trying to build a community here. We're just trying to figure ourselves out and help each other and help ourselves. And so, I don't claim to be right about anything ever, but sometimes I am. So I just will tell you what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I've learned, and it may be accurate and consistent with the alleged facts. I mean, you can't trust the facts, ma'am. Just the facts, ma'am. Anyway, everything I say is simply my opinion, even if I'm reading it off of my chat, even if I'm reading it off of something that I've printed or on WikiLeaks or something like that. Anything that comes out of this mouth is simply my opinion from my own perspective. I'm hoping to start a conversation and learn something and be educational. And all these videos that I've made to date have been made for YouTube, and it's an entertainment platform. Bubbly Waters. I will pray for Lily. Oh, man. Insanity. But just passing through to thank you for the email. Interesting enough, pretty much the same thing was written in an article in a friend's hometown paper. Scary stuff. Love you. That email was like a week or two ago. Girl, I can't remember what the heck it was. I'd have to go back and read it. I got the short attention span brain much of the time. Anna B says, sorry, Jazz, start over. My DIL was here, daughter-in-law, getting my grandkids, LOL. Aw. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. I just really appreciate you. So yeah, unfortunately for Bubbly Water, she's aware of this poor Lily person, this OnlyFans. I don't know. Maybe they can just delete OnlyFans altogether. Like, this would make a good argument for that. So, you guys, I'm just going to be completely honest, because that's how I always like to do things. It just keeps it real. It makes it easier. I didn't pay any attention to Aaliyah back when the whole thing happened. She died in a plane crash in 2001. I think it was August 25th, 2001. And you know what I did the night before last? You're not going to believe it. This is how obsessive or dedicated I am. I watched the entire 2000 MTV Music Video Awards ceremony, the entire thing from start to finish, because the Jay-Z P. Diddy allegations from the 13-year-old allegedly happened at an after party from that night. So Jay-Z, P. Diddy, J-Lo, Beyonce, and Aaliyah were all there. They were all part of the inner workings. They were all, winning awards and making announcements for, presenting people awards. Aaliyah won 2 all by herself, and she was 22. Beyonce won a single one with Destiny's Child. So, as a group, she won an award that night. I think J-Lo won an award that night. J-Lo is dating P. Diddy. Beyonce was 20. Was she 20? Because she's 2 years. No, she was 19. She's 2 years younger than Aaliyah. And Aaliyah, her birthday, oh man, I had it all in my mind. I don't even think I wrote it down. Um, anyway, Aaliyah's born in 79. Is that right? And then Beyonce's born in 81. Can you guys help me out with that? I should have written it down. I thought I'd remember. I thought I could rely on my brain. But let me just look up their dates of birth super quick so that my brain can keep functioning. Because once I hit a roadblock, I'm screwed. So, okay. I'm just still getting the chills from the whole thing with that chickadee with Lily. Okay, and then Selena hung out with them too, you guys. So Beyonce is 43 right now. She was born on December 4th, 1969. No, that's her hubby. Okay, so Jay-Z, born on December 4th, 1969. He's 55 years old. Their age difference is 12 years and 3 months. Her birthday is September 4th, 1981. Okay, so 9/4/81 is B. And then I believe that Aaliyah was born January 16th of 79. 1/16/79. And I'm just going to say it. Aaliyah had a leg up on Beyonce. And I think that there was a lot of competition. So the night of the VMA Awards started out with Beyonce interviewing Aaliyah on the red carpet. And then the night ended with an after party, allegedly, maybe at P. Diddy's house. So, some things I want to say about this Jane Doe and her alleged learning disability. And allegedly, she had a head injury prior to this traumatic event. So you have a traumatic event, you've got somebody with autism, and I would think that that's diagnosed autism, or her lawyer wouldn't be putting it out there. They would just say like characteristics or something. And we don't know if it was diagnosed before or after. We don't even know for sure that it was diagnosed, but I'm sure we'll be finding out a lot more this week. But that lawyer, Busby, he's not going to be coming out and allowing her to be interviewed on a national syndicate. What was it? NBC. That was a chess move. That was a power play. And then they watched Jay-Z squirm, and boy, did he. He said way too much, you guys. He said way too much. My opinion is that if it wasn't true, he would just say, it's not true. And he'd leave it at that. But the way he just came out fighting and punching and just brutal, just absolutely brutal, especially towards Busby. And Busby, I guess, is the same attorney that was very prominent in the Astro World aftermath, which that's a whole another tragedy that we could have multiple podcasts about. That was insane. But it was only just like an hour ago that I thought, wait a second. So Busby covered that. I think, was it 10 people that perished at Astro World that were crushed? And then you got to go back to P. Diddy. What was that? Around 1991 or something, when he organized an event in New York City where I think 9 people got crushed and perished. It was at like a community college, and it was at the start of his career. Was it even more? Was it like 13 people? Do you guys remember? Hey, Shan. Oh, wait, no, that's Veronica Jokester. I just assumed it was Shan. Hey, Veronica. I hadn't read it. I just saw the blue and I thought, oh, it's got to be Shan. Okay, sorry about that. I've got a ton of research to do while I wait for a doctor appointment. It was about defense Trump church. Yeah. Thank you, Bubbly Waters. So it's all coming back to me now. Yeah. Craziness. The Wilson grandsons and Doug Wilson, the granddad who started that really conservative fundamentalist church in Moscow, Idaho. that's like all over the nation. And Pete Hegseth is a member, I think, of the Tennessee branch. And it's like total fundamentalist, like Handmaid's Tale crap. It's so weird that we keep going back to that Handmaid's Tale crap. But let's just try to stay focused on this whole other R&B Soul Train kind of culture for a minute, because it, in a sense, it's refreshing because it's not our stupid whitey crap. I mean, not to divide the races, but the races are divided. I mean, honestly, that's why I didn't pay attention to Aaliyah, was I wasn't part of that whole thing back when it happened. I just didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention to Tupac or Biggie or the whole thing with P. Diddy. Um, you've got Eminem, who is a crossover, right? You've got 50 Cent and LL Cool J, who are kind of crossovers. But those three, they all are in direct opposition to Diddy and Jay-Z, I believe, in my opinion, or from what I've gathered, it seems. OnlyFans is gross. Well, especially with this girl and what she's doing with herself. It's absolutely horrific. She was drugged and put on that plane. Oh yeah, Aaliyah was drugged and put on that plane, Veronica. Thank you. I wanted to talk about that. So when she flew on that small Cessna jet in the Bahamas, she was trying to get back to Miami to do another music video or something. She was down there in the Bahamas doing a music video. This was August 25th of 2001. The next MTV Music Video Awards were coming up in about 2 weeks. So she won an award that night posthumously, but she was already gone. And 8 people perished in that airplane crash. And she was on the phone with her boyfriend, Damon Dash. So Damon Dash, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, R. Kelly, they all go way back. We got to go back when R. Kelly married Aaliyah was 1994, 1995. I think 95, and then they were divorced in 96. She was 15 when he married her. And that would mean that Beyonce was 13 when she was 15. Those two had already been getting famous, so they were already part of that scene. So Jay-Z and Beyonce swear that they never met until she was 18, and then they didn't start dating for over a year later. She was 19. So there's no way there could have been any statutory there, right? No, there's a ton of pictures of them together when she's 16. A ton. Quit lying. But she's married to him and she has his kids, but there's still no statute of limitations on that. And especially if he carried her across state lines, that's a whole nother thing. That's a lot of what got R. Kelly put in jail right now, is because not only did he do statutory crap, but he crossed these kids over state lines. And I'm trying to remember, is that called like an Adam thing, or I don't know why that word is coming to mind. It makes it a federal offense. So federal charges for, there's just so much material, you guys. I apologize that my brain can't retain it all. I thought it would retain most of it, but you know how that goes. Maybe yes, maybe no. So federal charges against R. Kelly. Jay-Z's up for these same charges, you guys. Federal charges against R. Kelly. It is nuts. So after he divorced Aaliyah, she was a free agent in 1996 when she was then 16, and she was hanging out with all these guys. And then I'm just trying to look for the name of that federal charges when they cross state lines. So he basically got a 20 or 30-year sentence 2 years ago, you guys. It took 28 years to charge him, not only for marrying a 15-year-old and taking her across state lines, but also for bribing the government to make her a fake ID. So he had an ID that said she was 18 years old. And those are some of the heaviest charges, I believe, that he's in prison now for. But when he was first up on these charges years ago, he was acquitted on all counts. And then they started doing the R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly series. And it was the Surviving R. Kelly series that helped get him charged and put in prison. So let's see what it says here about the crossing the state lines, which makes it a federal offense. And I'll read your comments because maybe you guys are helping me out here. I mean, he lost everything, and he deserves to have lost everything. I mean, child P is gross, but it seems that all of these guys are into that. It seems that P. Diddy is into that. It seems that Jay-Z is into that. And that's why this other crew, like 50 Cent, LL Cool J, and Eminem, they hate those guys. I mean, they probably slept with some of the people that they cared about too, right? Um, Dang it, I'm not finding the name of that. Let me just, if I look up the charges against R. Kelly, I highly recommend that Surviving R. Kelly thing, you guys. I know I've said it again and again, but I can't recommend it highly enough. Even though it was horrific to watch and I could barely get through it. I really could barely get through it. So it should be here in the Wikipedia, right? Mann Act, violations of the Mann Act. I was saying Adam or something. So the Mann Act is when you take anybody of any age across state lines for the purpose of paid for personal gratification. So, you know the words for that, right? So, the other thing you have with both R. Kelly and now with Jay-Z, I believe, is the RICO stuff. Like this is a whole system. These people weren't operating in vacuums with nobody knowing. Like they were all in on it together. It was disgusting. They also hung out with Epstein. They also hung out with Weinstein. The problem with Epstein and Weinstein and the Me Too movement, you guys, is that, and this is from some of the research that I've done of the R&B industry, the Me Too movement didn't apply to Black women. In the opinions of the Black women that I've seen interviewed talking about this, it didn't apply to them because they didn't have the same rights that white women had. And I've been really curious about this 13-year-old Jane Doe, who's 37 now, the accuser with the current Jay-Z thing. Is she black or is she white? And I think she's white. Maybe that's another reason why they showed that interview, because they showed her hands. And at first it was hard to tell, like, is she light skinned black? Because I mean, these guys usually seem to have a thing for light skinned black, don't you think? In my opinion. Bubbly Waters, you're awesome. Let's see. Thank you so much for all these comments, you guys. So OnlyFans so out of hand. Bubbly Water says. Veronica says she was sacrificed so Beyonce could move up. Exactly. Beyonce cleaned up at the awards ever since. I mean, Beyonce was already getting a good start and she already had a foot in the door, but Aaliyah was 2 years older than her. She was prettier than her. She was thinner than her. And that's a big thing, in Hollywood. And then she was a lot more talented than her. So and everybody was gaga over Aaliyah. And then Beyonce wanted to get into movies like Aaliyah was getting into movies. That was what she was interviewing her about on the red carpet right prior to the VMAs that night, you guys, talking about the movies. And then it was shortly after that, that was the year 2000. Didn't the Austin Powers Gold Member that Beyonce was in, didn't that come out in like '03 or something? Let me look again. I didn't write it down. Gold Member. That was such a funny name. Gold Member Austin Powers, 2002. So that would have been getting filmed probably then in 2001, the same year that Aaliyah was, in my opinion, rubbed out. And yeah, they crashed a plane and took out over half a dozen other people with her. Dame Dash doesn't like to think that it was a conspiracy. He likes to call it a crazy conspiracy, but I think that it's just too scary to admit it, and that maybe it's too scary to admit it because he would be next, right? Um, if you want an amazing deep dive on Diddy, watch Rotten Mango with Stephanie Sue. I've seen Rotten Mango. She's really good. Yeah, she has like 1 million or 5 million subs. Stephanie is amazing, just like you. Oh, you are so cute. Yeah, if only. I'd like to think that I could get to her level at some point. But yeah, one of the things I like about her is that she's not like all fancy. She's not all polished. She's just herself. She doesn't even do much makeup. And I like that. I like people that just try to be themselves because, life is so stressful. Why try to be anything but yourself? It's hard enough trying to be yourself, isn't it? I mean, it's all I'm trying to do right now, and I'm failing miserably. Let me show you my cool necklace. Do you see this? It's like a moon and a star and a triangle. It's bronze and silver and I'm not even sure all the metals. I knew the artist that made it like 30 years ago, and I just found it yesterday. It was a much more elaborate necklace, and I took it apart and I put that on a chain, and then I put it over this other necklace. And so I didn't make these, but I did make these cool earrings that I love. They're just like little green glass and jade, and then some metal beads. So, okay, back on track. Squirrel. Okay. Thanks for your support, you guys. Because, yeah, it's like I like being me, and not everybody can handle me. And if people can't handle me, that's okay. Some people think that I'm just annoying, and I understand that. I might think that I was annoying too if I wasn't me. Actually, I probably do think that I'm annoying sometimes, and I am me. So I like to say I don't even agree with everything I say sometimes. Seriously, right? Um, yeah, Rotten Mango, you guys, check out that channel if you haven't heard of it already. It's a big, giant platform. Um, and she was a beautiful soul. I loved her, and never like Beyonce, J Lo, and Jay and Diddy. J Lo's disgusting. She's garbage, in my opinion. I used to be a big fan of hers because she's so pretty, but she's so freaking full of herself. So she was Diddy's date that night. And it was earlier that year that she was wearing that plunged V-neck green dress. I think she wore it to the Grammys or something, or I think it was the Grammys earlier in the year 2000. On the night in question of the MVA awards, she was wearing a white tank top, like a half shirt, showing her midriff with lowrider white jeans and a white bandana. I also want to say that Aaliyah was really a trendsetter with the style. Like Beyonce was all about the like sequins and bling. Aaliyah had way more cool style. And then after Aaliyah passed away, Beyonce, I think, was trying to be her. I'll just say it. I think she was trying to be her. That's gross. That is seriously gross. It's like, just be yourself. But what's going on with Beyonce's little sister, too? Those girls, ugh. I would almost feel bad. I feel bad for her little sister. I don't feel bad for her. Like, that's just gross. So her and Jay-Z, when they made their first music together, it was called Bonnie and Clyde. What did Bonnie and Clyde do? They were on a crime spree. I think they took around 13 lives. They stole a lot. That's Bonnie and Clyde. Like, why did they call themselves that? And then you've got that song Daughter on Beyonce's last record. You guys do not want me to read you the lyrics to Daughter, but I'm going to. Because it's insane. Like, I had heard some of it, and what I didn't realize is that it starts like this. I thought this was the middle of the song. This is called Daughter, song by Beyonce. This is how it starts. Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan, but I tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. That's how it starts. That's the very beginning. I'll keep going. They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I'm colder than Titanic water. Help me, Lord, from these fantasies in my head. I think they're more than that, in my opinion. They ain't never been safe ones. I don't fellowship with these fake ones. So let's travel to white chapels and sing hymns, hold rosaries, and sing in stained glass symphonies. Cleanse me, Holy Trinity, from this marijuana smoke smell in my hair. I sashay my dress, did my best impression of a damsel in distress. This alcohol and smell of regret allured my catch. Outfit too small to hide my scars, feeling bottled up like bottle service broads. How long can he hold his breath before his death? And then it's got a verse that's in like Spanish or something, Italian, I'm not sure. And then it repeats some of the lyrics. How long can he hold his breath before his death? Girl. Okay. Let's see. Isn't she thought her Diddy as a 5-part series, I believe. Yeah, there's so many good content creators that have been covering Diddy and Jay-Z for years, you guys, for years. There's a lot of information out there. What I didn't realize was that Selena hung out with Aaliyah before she was red rummed. And it just makes you question everything, doesn't it? Because allegedly it was the president of Selena's fan club who did that. It's really sad. And wasn't that the year after her divorce from R. Kelly? Wasn't that when she was 16? Like, that's what is so insane about fame and fortune. It's like life in the fast lane, man. And then, 5 years later, Aaliyah's gone too. I still think Brian is innocent of the undoing. Oh, bubbly waters. I've been talking some about Brian and the Luigi guy and how similar they are. It makes me question the Luigi arrest. Although, of course, it seems like everything is true and accurate with him. It's just too much. It's like Brian, and then they have so much in common. She's like, "What in the world, man?" Yes, they always have been. Woman, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I'm on a deep dive like no other. Just wanted to thank you. Hi and bye. Thank you. Let's see. I'm gonna get all caught up. Where'd it go? Diddy or Biggie had him unalived after Pac. Yeah, Tupac. And I don't even think I'm saying Aaliyah's name right. So if I am misenunciating it, I apologize. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. That's how I say it. Because yeah, I used to say Tupac, but it's Tupac, right? Like 2 packs of cigarettes. Eminem, 50 Cent, and Snoop Dogg, and there's more never liked Pedo Daddy. Yeah, Snoop Dogg is way cool. And then he was there at the opening, the Olympics, for the breakdancing that Ray Gun ruined. And you got to love him hanging out with Martha Stewart. I do anyway. I think it's adorable. There was rumors about them dating. What a cute couple. Seriously. Okay, R. Kelly wrote this song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, for her to sing. Right, that was her first record. And he's standing in the background for the cover, looking like a freaking perv daddy, which he was and is. Yeah. Diddy, OMG, thumbs, Diddy. And Ice Cube always disliked them. Right. Did I leave Ice Cube out? I was talking about LL Cool J and 50 Cent. Ice T, too. Ice T is cool, isn't he? You got Ice T, Ice Cube, LL Cool J. They all kind of remind me of each other. Ice T is the one that was on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I have not been able to watch R. Kelly doc. Anna, I had a lot of trouble getting through the first or second series. I think it's like 4 parts. I had a lot of trouble getting through the first and second one, I think, and I didn't think I'd watch the rest. But then there was so much hope. Like these survivors telling their stories. It was so hard for them to tell their stories. They survived it and they're putting their faces out there, they're putting their names out there. It rocks. It's very empowering. Very empowering. And the things that they've been through, you wouldn't think that they could survive, let alone talk about it. Really, let alone talk about it. So then there's another new documentary about R. Kelly's daughter that he um, violated when she was 8 or 9. And I think she's like 23 now. And that one just came out a year ago. I watched that over the weekend too. It's not as hard to watch, believe it or not. It's not as hard as the Surviving R. Kelly because she's talking more about the happy times and she doesn't go into any details, I don't think. Like the Surviving R. Kelly, they don't talk about any happy times and all they do is go into details and it's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Um have you ever heard of the sacrifice parties? People would think I was crazy when I talked about what really happens in Hollywood, and now it's all coming out. Well, I think on the internet, there's a lot that will still try to throw us into that conspiracy theory basket because it's too uncomfortable, and they're part of it. A lot of people want to deny all of that. A lot of people want to deny all of that. Um, yeah, I don't think I need to say any more, right? I mean, I think it all ties together, whether it's a white party or sacrifice party. I think that the white parties were sacrifice parties, which is why they were all white. And then they would get covered with things that weren't white. Have you heard of Allie Carter? Yes, I've heard of Allie Carter. Anybody who doesn't know who Allie Carter is, she's a survivor of this stuff and she talks about it. And some people try to say, oh, she's crazy, just like Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright, they try to say is crazy. I didn't realize that her son was, he had his life taken a few years ago when he was 25 at a party in a parking lot in a hotel. I think it was like his birthday party. I did not realize that Jaguar Wright had been victimized like that herself, but it makes more sense why she is so fearless and adamant in her speaking out. And Cat Williams, he's awesome. They like to say he's crazy too, and he's the furthest thing from it, in my opinion. Yeah, Allie Carter, thanks for bringing her up, Veronica. But what about rock bands? Shoot, Elvis was a Chumu too. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, Priscilla was 14 when he started dating her, right? Or was she 13? And she was a baby. Disgusting. And Anna has not heard of Allie Carter. Yeah, Allie Carter, she came out into the public forum to let the information be known. And then she's been hiding out, I think, ever since for her safety and for her sanity. And yeah, really need to check into Allie. Bless that woman. Yeah, yeah. It's a very pretty necklace and earrings. Oh, thank you, thank you. I love my funky, unique jewelry. I'm just obsessed. I can't help it. I mean, I started designing jewelry literally when I was 8 years old. So that's almost 50 years ago, you guys. I designed my first pair of earrings when I was 8 years old. And they were hoops. They were like this big. They were rainbow hoops. It was just a piece of metal with rainbow beads. And I think I have them somewhere. I had them all the way up until a few years ago. Maybe they've disappeared by now, but I bet they're somewhere. Um, if I find them, I'll wear them for you. But I could also replicate and make something real similar. Um, yeah, rock bands and movie stars. I mean, when I was a kid growing up in Southern California, I had dirt bags hit on me at parties, and I'll just say the name of one of those dirt bags because he did it. I was there. I know, and he doesn't deserve Warren Beatty. It was Warren Beatty. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I think I was 12 and he tried to feel me up. I was wearing a bikini and he pulled me over to sit on his lap and he was wearing swim trunks. It was his own pool party. It was a small party. I was friends with his kids, his daughters that he denies exist. I won't say their names, but when he married Annette Bening, I don't know, what, 30 years ago now, he tried to pretend like he didn't have any kids, and his kids are my age. He's got two daughters that are my age, unless they're not of this earth anymore. I would imagine that they disowned him, but he didn't know me. I mean, I knew his kids from school. It was the only time I'd been to his house was that 4th of July pool party. And he pulled my person onto his lap, put his hand on my thigh, and continued talking to his friend, who was my friend's dad, who did know me. And I just got up and left. I was just like, what the heck is this? Like, I wasn't even thinking the perv stuff. I just thought, what? Like, I don't want to sit on your leg, your thigh, while you're talking to my friend's dad. I'm going to go jump in the pool with my friends. Disgusting freak. But had I not gotten up and left, and again, growing up in that whole culture, it didn't impress me that people were famous. Like, I'd seen the movie Heaven Can Wait that he had starred in a few years before that. And I thought he was great in the movie. I thought he was a hunk. But it didn't impress me, when that happened. I wasn't like, oh, he's that star. I was just like, what the F is going on? I need to go hang out with my girlfriends and splash around in the pool. But, like that could have gone so differently. That could have gone so freaking differently. I mean, that's just a little snippet. And that's just one story. And I told you guys the Ryan O'Neal story. And he didn't touch me. Ryan O'Neal did not put a hand on me, but that douchebag actually put his hand on my body. Ew. So yeah, I don't care if I know I'm speaking the truth, so I'll just say it. I'll just name those MFs. I don't even know if Warren Beatty's still alive. Dirtbag. And then when he was he the one that married Madonna? I can't even remember. He married Madonna before Annette Bening, right? I don't know. I don't care. Have you ever heard of the sacrifice party? Okay, where are we? Okay, I got all taken with the pretty necklace compliment. You are the best you. Oh, you're so cute, Veronica. I just love that the internet is this creative outlet where we can just do whatever we want, which, you know, I just think it's a really healthy means of self-expression. That's what I'm here for. And it's really cool building community. That is the bomb. So thanks for being part of this little community, you guys. Jazz, you are not annoying. Totally love you. Well, I didn't want to like toot my own horn, but a lot of people are like, oh, I just love her. Like in real life, not just on YouTube. People will be like, oh, I fell in love with her the minute I met her. I mean, I've had old ladies say that about me. And my husband says that about me. And, that's cool. I like that people think that I'm the bee's knees sometimes, but I think that in itself annoys some people. So, and different strokes for different folks, right? I knew things in my younger days in the hip hop scene. I wanted to be in the music industry, but did not want to sign my soul over. Oh, see, I didn't really ever think I had any musical talent. I still don't, but it was when I was in college that I started trying to learn how to play guitar and had that kind of fantasy of singing in a band. And I tried singing in a band. I tried learning guitar. It didn't go so well. Um, but yeah, the whole Hollywood scene, I was completely unimpressed by that growing up around it. And then I just thank my lucky stars that I moved to Ohio for high school. Absolutely. She stole that baby. Veronica, speak the truth, girl. So she's talking, for anybody who doesn't know, about Beyonce and that fake belly that she wore. I think I put the clip to that in one of my descriptions of one of my last videos, but I'll put another link today because that's that crazy clip where she's wearing the red dress and she's at an interview in Australia and the dress, oh, it's the channel is not my cup of tea. The dress is like clinging to her pillow belly as she's walking. She's not walking right. Like she's literally like walking like a Barbie doll, like her arms don't bend because somebody probably told her, remember not to bend. And she thought that they meant the arms when walking, but no, they meant the tummy when sitting because your tummy won't bend when you got a big baby in there. Your tummy will not bend. Her tummy bends and collapses and her arm like caves it in. And then to make it better and more obvious, she's like this when she comes up from bending over and she's looking at the guy who interviewed her like, oh, F, did I just blow it? It's like, yeah, and you're continuing to blow it further with that look on your face. So for that, we can thank her. Yeah, she stole that baby. When was that baby born? That's Blue Ivy, you guys. Allegedly, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, that's Blue Ivy. That was Kathy White. Kathy White was the long term mistress of Jay Z that dropped to her non existence 2 days before or 2 days after the VMAs, where Beyonce reveals her pregger belly. And then a few months later, she did that one interview in Australia. And then they say that Blue Ivy was born January 7th of 2012. It's easy for me to remember that because my youngest was born 2 weeks after that, basically. And my youngest is super tall, but not as tall as Blue Ivy. I think that Blue Ivy is older than 12. Like they'll be turning 13 next month. And no, that girl that was at Mustafa with her her dad and her alleged mother. And she's taller than B, and Bay, or whatever the F she wants to be called, she's 5'7". Jay-Z is 6'2". And of course, Bay and Blue Ivy are going to be wearing stiletto heels, but still, Blue Ivy's taller than Bay, and she's not that far below the 6'2" Jay-Z. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Um, she's disgusting. Those worlds are messed up. I've never listened to Beyonce or P. Diddy. Well, I don't even think they make much music. I mean, P. Diddy doesn't make much music. He's just like a hanger outer. Um, Beyonce, I can admit that she has a decent voice because I saw some of that over the weekend when I was doing some research. She does have a good voice, but um, she's, like I was saying last week, she's one of these people that sings in her freaking underpants. And, Aaliyah dressed super risque, but she didn't sing in her underpants. If you're talented, you don't need to sing in your underpants, J-Lo. One song she talks about ripping pages out of the Bible and using it for menstruation things. That's super disgusting. I have missed out on that. Thank you for enlightening me, Veronica. And I'm not being sarcastic. Thank you for enlightening me. That is completely disgusting. Yes, it was Yolanda, the president of her fan club. It was witnessed by many people. I don't think P. Diddy had anything to do with it. No, but just the tragedy and how she was so tight with Aaliyah, and that was the year after Aaliyah's marriage was nullified. I mean, Aaliyah was 16 and she had seen way too much already, right? And yeah, I mean, it could be that P. Diddy didn't have anything to do with it. It could be that the Queen Bee had something to do with it because she needed to get those Grammys. Sorry for the noise on the mic. I mean, she got people out of the way, I believe, so that she could get the Grammys. Or I mean the what are the music ones? They are Grammys, aren't they? You got the Oscars, the Emmys, yeah, and the Grammys are the music ones. And then you've got the music video awards. So Aaliyah won 20 or 30 awards in her short career. Like I said, she won 2 the night of this alleged after party gone bad from 2000. And then I believe she won a single one 2 weeks after she passed away, but then she didn't win any after that because she wasn't making any music. But guess who won every freaking year for like 10 years in a row? Yeah, it wasn't me. You were saying it right. Oh, I am? I'm saying Aaliyah right? Cool. POC. Pac. Tupac. Thank you. Yes, Ice-T too. Yeah, I love Ice-T. I don't know what it is about him. He just seems really real and honest, and yeah. Hi, subbed from Kelly last night. Oh, hey, Grandma Sherry. You're so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, that's so nice when I go into other chats and panels and they advertise for my little tiny channel. Kelly's really supportive. Kelly's who got me, like, broke the ice for me into YouTube. She invited me to be a special guest on her panel way before I started my YouTube channel when Paula Plunder was trying to get me to start one. And even when Kelly had me as a special guest, I still wasn't thinking that I was going to start my own channel. I just couldn't picture it. I couldn't imagine it. And then when I did do it, I thought, I need to try to do it every day for like 2 years and then see if it sticks. And I did it most every day for 2.5 years now. And I think it has stuck. Like I go into withdrawal over the weekend. I'm such a ham. I'm such a ham. I get so much out of this discourse. So thank you again for your support. Let me get caught up because I'm like way behind. I apologize. And Thanks, Anna Bees. Cat Williams is my boy. Love him. Cat Williams is from Dayton, Ohio, and then Cincinnati. So from my stomping grounds. And then I think he moved to Florida when he was getting famous. I'm not sure where he lives now, but I know he started in Dayton and then Cincy. He's my Ohio boy. Um, I've heard stories about Warren Beatty. Oh, really? I haven't. Ugh. And I don't tell that story too often because it's just kind of worthless. But I think that these freaks need to be outed. I do. Absolutely. Granny Annie. No, Madonna first marriage was Sean Penn. I know. I went to junior high school with Sean and his brother. But didn't Madonna marry him, Warren Beatty, after Sean Penn? I mean, Sean Penn started the whole thing with shooting at the paparazzi in the sky at his wedding. Um, let's see. I need to know. Madonna, Warren Beatty. I'm pretty sure. Maybe they didn't get married. Maybe they were just a thing. Warren Beatty opens up about dating Madonna. Okay. On and off screen love with Madonna. Yeah. I mean, Madonna married Sean Penn before she got famous, and he was really famous. And I think, quite frankly, that she used him, but he was messed up. He was a substance abuser. His brother was too. They were kind of raised by wolves in a barn, basically. And I mean, theater is what saved Sean. He actually is talented. And his little brother passed away from an overdose a few years ago, probably a couple decades ago now. But Sean, when I heard that he had talent, that he was like in doing theater in downtown Los Angeles, I was just like, gross. I can't imagine that he has any talent. Yeah. But he does, and the talent saved him. So good for him. So yeah, Madonna got famous from marrying him, basically. I mean, she was already breaking into her music career, but man, he went wacko with her. Didn't he like hold her hostage in a closet at gunpoint and stuff like that? I'm pretty sure she alleges. Um, yeah. Um, Veronica, I just read the other comments. I feel Delphi Libby was sacrificed. Yeah, yeah. And Granny Annie, I know that I shared the crime scene pictures with you. Anybody who wants, I have just two that I think are widely circulated on the internet, and I'm willing to share them with anybody who wants them, that just sends me an email and says why they want them. Unless I know you, then you don't have to say why. I know why. I just don't want you to share the ones that I share with you on the internet. Like, I don't think they should be out there for respect for the family and the kids. But see, the other flip side of that, that's so hard dealing with true crime and truth, is that, of course, you want to respect the victims and their families 100%, 1,000%. And at the same time, you have to have the truth out there. Like, for instance, with rugs, like a lot of these cases have rugs involved, and the rugs are not in the official narrative because out of respect to the victims and the families. And I think that's bull. I think it's more to protect where the rugs came from, going up the chain of how they got distributed. That's what I think. And I think it's important so that people understand that a lot of this crazy stuff doesn't just happen. Sure, it can, but it usually is tied in with rug abuse and substances and a lot of Hollywood. Like everybody I knew in Southern California had some kind of substance abuse problem. Everybody, even one that was really famous for being like a leader in the 12-step community. It turned out that he was being a fraud for 25 years, that he was like a secret alcoholic the whole time, that he was like the leader of the 12-step stuff. That was my friend's dad. And I won't mention his name because, I mean, he's done a lot of great work. And it was good that he finally came out with that and admitted it, because he was like the only person in Hollywood who wasn't addicted to stuff. And then it turned out that he was. Yeah. And you get that a lot. You get that not just with Hollywood, you get that with doctors, you get that with airline pilots, because those people, when you're an airline pilot, you can't really confess to being an active alcoholic. Or when you're a surgeon, you can't confess to being a substance abuser. No one's going to hire you. And you can get sued after the fact, right? Please do it. I want to see it. Anna B's. Send me an email, justiceatooz@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you. So yeah, they're horrifying because of the content. They're very simple, and it's some of the very simple what you see is very indicative of things that aren't talked about in the official narrative, basically. Yes, a fake baby bump showed the lady that was ill the same day is the mom. I forgot her name. Oh, are you talking about Kathy White? Are you talking about that? And yeah, it was like 2 days before or 2 days after. And the official narrative is that she passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm. And she was 28 years old, and she was alone in her own apartment. And any unattended passing needs to be treated as potential foul play until that can be completely ruled out. I think the song Lemonade, I could be wrong. Yeah. I know something about that song too. I haven't looked at those lyrics, and I don't know if I want to after looking at Daughter. I have no singing talent, but when I sing naked, my videos sell. 1-800-see-me, LOL Annie. I like Sean Penn. He did some effed up things in his youth, but he's different now. Yeah, he got it out of his system, and it's not his fault being raised by the barn by a couple of wolves that weren't even there. And yeah, he got it out of his system young. And I had such an aversion to him from my own interactions with him that weren't a lot. I just was like, you know, he was shunned, basically. He was shunned, him and his brother. Even after they got successful, people were just like, so what? Everybody around here was famous. So it was when he did Into the Wild that I really was like, okay, that's talent. He took that book, Into the Wild, turned it into an amazing movie. It's one of the only movies that I've seen that I've read the book to, and that the movie is just as good, if not better. And then recently I saw him in Harvey Milk, and he played Harvey Milk, and that was excellent. And that I think it's just called Milk. The movie is about the Twinkie defense. Anybody who hasn't heard of the Twinkie defense, I've talked about it a lot. I didn't realize that was the Twinkie defense. The person who unalived Harvey Milk used the Twinkie defense, and it worked. They invented it. So I wonder if this Luigi can say that he had a Big Mac attack, right? I mean, sorry to make light of this stuff. It's just so bizarre. Like the whole thing with his little tiny manifesto, like 3 pages like of my notebook, basically. You can't call that a manifesto. I mean, I have so many of these tiny notebooks with so much chicken scratch on them. Are you going to call them manifestos if anything weird ever happens? I don't think so. You would call them gibberish. So, yeah. Also, having the weapon on his person, having the silencer on his person, sitting in public wearing like the same outfit with the same mask, and not leaving when he could overhear people talking about calling authorities. And why would anybody, like, the story is that a customer of the restaurant thought that they spotted him, and so they went and talked to an employee, and had the employee call. Like, wasn't there a $50,000 reward for finding him for, turning him in if it led to his arrest? Like, why would you talk to anybody about that? Why wouldn't you just like step outside and make your call really quickly? I mean, to me, it's very suspicious. Like everybody's got a cell phone. Like, why is a customer going to talk to an employee? Like, only an employee can call because it's an establishment? Like, give me a break. That is so freaking weird. And yeah, McDonald's just keeps coming up in way too many things in the media these days. It's so bizarre. But the best joke ever, you guys, this is Sarah Cooper. If you don't know that comedian, she was doing a skit. I'll put a link to it in the description of potential jurors for his trial. And one of the questions for one of the potential jurors was, "Where do you work?" And she was like, "Burger King, where we don't snitch on our customers." I thought that was so funny. We don't snitch on our customers. Hilarious, right? MK Ultra, is that what you're talking about? Um, let's see. Granny Annie says he learned how to direct his energy into productivity. And when his little brother Chris passed away, that really kicked him in the rear end. It really did. But I never understood like what actresses like Robin Wright, I never understood what they saw in him until I saw Harvey Milk. And he does such an amazing job with that character. It just really kind of tipped the scales where like I could see why a beautiful actress like Robin Wright would fall in love with him and marry him for 25 years. Yeah, Robin Wright, for anyone who doesn't know, she was the princess in The Princess Bride, and she I think had like 3 kids with Sean Penn. Sean was a D when he was younger. My cousin met him and he didn't want to talk to the locals. He was making a movie in Superior AZ with J-Lo and Nick Nolte. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, his first big movie was Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And that came out the year that I moved from Malibu to small town in Ohio. And it was hard for me to tell anybody that I knew any of these people because they didn't believe me because the movie was such a hit. And I was just like, yeah, but he's gross. Like that character was his name Rizzo in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was exactly who he was in high school, in my opinion. Like he didn't have to act at all. Like that was the real him. But it was funny. The movie was funny. The movie was a hit. And yeah, I just didn't like to talk about any of that because people thought I was making stuff up. And I've told you guys this before. I was always like, if I was going to make stuff up, I'd be like, man, I was hanging out with Mick Jagger. Like, I'm not going to make up stuff about all these other people. I'm not going to waste any time talking about anybody but Mick Jagger. Come on. I was obsessed with him back then. And I still kind of am, but what, he's like 85 or something. And he's kind of gross, but he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I still respect the man, as gross as he could be. He has wicked talent. Wicked talent. He's really smart and he's in incredible shape. A lot of people don't realize that he's like a professional athlete, basically. Like he didn't rug the way a lot of the others rugged. He did rug, like make no mistake. Of course, they all rugged, but he was not doing like what his buddy Keith Richards was doing. But did you know that him and Keith knew each other when they were young? I didn't realize that. All of the studying that I've done over the decades of the Rolling Stones, I did not realize that Mick and Keith knew each other when they were kids, I believe. I'll have to look that up again because that was new information to me. And maybe it's not accurate. Maybe it's not. I'll double check it. Yes, reward for Mangione. Am I saying it right? Mangione. Luigi. Smells like JP's fisherman. Yeah, and Veronica, I want to give you a shout out. Anybody who doesn't know Veronica's channel, are you willing and able to put a link to your channel here? Because she's got a great channel and she focuses a lot on Micah Miller, and she's the one who came up with JP Diddy, which to me is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Oh, and just as brilliant, a couple days ago, I think it was in my last live, that Shan from Squirrels on Fire came up with J-Lo equals pedo, and I thought that was crazy brilliant and hopefully not true. So let's go back to the question that I had that kind of took me on this whole rabbit hole express. Who is the witness in the room with the 13-year-old and P. Diddy and Jay-Z on the night of, what is it, September 7th, 2000? Who's the female? Like at first I thought it was B because they call them like famous person B or um, subject B, something like that. I thought, oh, that's not too good of a cover if it's B, right? Calling them subject B. Um, but then learning more about the whole situation, I thought more likely it's J-Lo because she was P. Diddy's date that night at the awards. They try to say that B and Jay-Z weren't dating yet, but I don't believe that. I think they started dating way before she was 18, and she was 19 on said night. But you guys, are you ready? I'm not saying that I think it's Aaliyah, but it could be Aaliyah that was in the room. And let's just go crazy fly into that rabbit hole. It could be that that's one of the reasons why she had to be rubbed out. There, I said it. Should I say it again? Louder for the people in the back. What if we find out that the female witness in the room with the 13-year-old P. Diddy and Jay-Z was Aaliyah? See, I already think they had to rub her out, not just so Beyonce could win all the awards for the next decade and get all the attention, get all the movie roles. I think that R. Kelly thought that rubbing her out would protect him from getting charged with marrying a 15-year-old and having a fake ID manufactured for her, saying that she was 18. Because I'm just going to take a wild guess that his legal representation told him that out of all the crimes he's committed, that those are the two that would be the easiest to hang him on because of the evidence. A lot of times in all of these crimes, you can't prove anything. But when you have a fake ID that says somebody's 18, you have a fake ID that says somebody's 18. And then there was the government official that was bribed with $500 to make that. And you have the marriage certificate that says you married a freaking 15-year-old with the fake ID that said that they were 18. So I'm pretty sure, I could have my wires twisted, but I'm pretty sure of all of the 8 charges that he's serving time for, that those are the 2 that really hung him up. And I want to say the other 6 are all like racketeering. So all of the imprisonment and hostage and assaults and violations and rugging and all the horrific things that he did to all of these people, that's not what he's in jail for. That's not what he's in jail for, because where's your proof? So now that's the exact same situation that Jay-Z is in with Jane Doe. And he's trying to say you have no proof. And then her father says, oh, well, I don't remember. I don't remember is classic code for I refuse to cooperate in legalese. It's code for I'm refusing to cooperate. I don't remember. Absolutely 100%. That's code for I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to be obstinate. So it could be that um, Jane Doe's father was paid off. It could be that he doesn't remember. It's more likely that he's paid off, in my opinion. The other thing that people try to shoot holes in her story with, so she says she has a 20-year-old friend, had a 20-year-old friend who gave her a ride from Rochester to New York City for the awards ceremony, right? And they say that the friend who was 20 back then when she was 13 is since deceased. That's fishy. Like, do they really exist? Did they really exist? Are they deceased because they were witness to this and so they got rubbed out? It's fishy. And was it a male or a female? Let's tell the whole story. I would imagine female, but who knows? Maybe male. Maybe that's how the 13-year-old was able to talk somebody into driving 10 hours for her if they took her there and then went back to Rochester. But then when she says she got away and called her dad from a gas station, people assumed that her dad was in Rochester too and that it would have taken him 5 hours to go pick her up. Not necessarily. He could have been anywhere. He could have been in New York City. He could have been in Long Island. He could have been in Jersey. Her parents could have been divorced. He might not have lived with her. Like, she might have lived in Rochester. And yeah, getting a ride to go 5 hours to New York City for the music video awards, the MTV Music Video Awards, that doesn't seem like such a stretch to me. Like, how many teenagers wouldn't do that if they had the opportunity, if they thought they had a chance of getting in and meeting these famous people? And to act like it would have taken him 5 hours to get to her to pick her up. I mean, even if he did live in Rochester, he could have been on a business trip to New York. She might have known that he was there. Maybe that was her plan, was to hook up with him later. There's so many details we don't know, but all these people want to jump to these conclusions and shoot holes in her story. And I don't think I've said this yet, and this is what I really wanted to say, is that when accusations like this are made against a public figure, the public figure will always deny categorically, profusely. That's the way it's done. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen. That's what you do. You don't say, oh, yeah, you got me. Yeah, I admit it now. No, you deny categorically, but the immense amount of like violently, vigorously denying these allegations and then just like tearing up and shredding the attorney in a cheap suit and calling him an ambulance chaser and just going on and on and on and on. All that does is make Jay-Z look defensive. Like, what's he trying to hide? Because that whole thing that he wrote was way too long. It was like, that was a manifesto, in my opinion. That whole thing that he wrote over the weekend and put out on his social media, he should have run it through his freaking attorney. Like, these people. But again, for that, we can thank them, because he really, in my opinion, has hung himself, and he's dug his hole deeper, and he's opened himself up. He's made himself very vulnerable with all of the crazy stuff he spewed out in that post. You know, going back to where I started with this whole conversation with you guys, is it's a chess game, and you bait each other and you try to see how people are going to respond. So they baited him and he went for it. I mean, he took the bait and he hung himself. in my opinion. We'll see what happens. I would think that Busby is going to be releasing some public statements today or early this week. I can't imagine that he wouldn't. I'm kind of surprised since the amended lawsuit was filed last Sunday. I'm kind of surprised that nothing did happen over the weekend, this past weekend, but that was probably just to really let it stew and let it simmer. That was probably strategic too. Yeah. Smells like JP's Fisherman. MK, yes, MK Ultra. And Luigi went off to a retreat to meditate, ended up programmed. I haven't heard anything about that, but what I wanted to say about Luigi that nobody has said, and forgive me if I'm incorrect, but it's just an opinion. People are comparing him to Brian Koberger, and they're trying to say like, oh, he's an incel. Oh, he couldn't, have relations with women because of his injury. I'm going to guess that he might not want relations with women, not because of any incel thing, but he kind of seems like his roommates too seem like that, they're twinning like Puff Daddy and Jay-Z. And I'm speaking code for, boys who like boys. Okay. There, I said it. Luigi seems like that to me. I mean, he's an extremely handsome and attractive young man, and nobody has said that I've heard or seen, that maybe he wasn't straight, people. There's a lot of the hottest ones are not straight. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah. And then ended up programmed. I'm so curious what your information is, Granny Annie. And yeah, it could well be. He was MK Ultra in your opinion, or from information that you've seen? Spicoli and Fast Times. Thank you. What did I say? Luigi? No, I'm just kidding. I had some other name. I won't even try to remember. It was like a whole 20 or 30 minutes ago, so I couldn't remember if I tried. But Spicoli, good memory. Or maybe the Google A told you. Actually interviewed the fisherman. Right, Veronica. How often did he fish there? So I listened to or watched some of your videos of the interview with him. I didn't find him very credible, personally. That is my opinion. I think that you had a different opinion than that. So, and that's cool. I mean, if you want to discuss, we can. Absolutely. It's good to have different opinions. And of course, we're going to have different opinions, right? Not very often he said, I have 3 parts. Oh, that's crazy, but you might be onto something. Veronica, I just subbed. Oh, very cool. And Granny Annie subbed. Oh, cool. Yay. It's true, though. Very true, Jez. His family received a text similar to Hannah's. I found a beautiful place to meditate. Yes, Luigi's family doubt allowed to like boys. I agree. Right. And that could be too something he didn't share with his family. A lot of people don't. But yeah, his mom had reported him missing like 2 weeks before 2 weeks before the incident, and then didn't the police try to contact him or contacted him just a handful of days before the incident? And yeah, Hannah's case, I definitely feel like I won't say I told you so to anybody, but I thought that Hannah's case, I was hoping that it was going to wrap up with much ado about nothing. I think that's what I called my first video about her. One of the first videos about her is that she wasn't really missing. I always got the feeling she didn't meet the criteria for being a missing person. And I always wondered why the LAPD was involved. I always wondered a lot of things. And I still wonder Is she really okay? How can we trust just because the people that were so untrustworthy with the whole situation from the ground up are saying that she's okay? How can we trust that she is? And really, if her ex-boyfriend coordinated the marriage between her and Alan, her ex-boyfriend Amun coordinated a marriage between his wife's current boyfriend and his ex-girlfriend, that's a form of trafficking. So for her family to say that they were concerned that she was being trafficked, she was in fact being trafficked, if that is true, even if she was aware that it was a fraudulent marriage. Still, having Amun coordinate it, that's human trafficking right there. And yeah, I've always wondered, were they taking her to New York City for some more trafficking? And did she have an OnlyFans page? Because a lot of those pictures are, um, I wouldn't say saucy because they're very classy and they're very elegant, but they definitely seem like professional photo shoots and curated. They definitely seem like curated photos from her Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is. I don't know. I stay away from all of those platforms, and I'm so glad that I do because it's just too much for me, in my opinion. Um, no, I remembered LOL. Oh, Spinoli. What did I say? Annabes, if you remember, what was the weird name that I came up with in me brain? I'm on the fence, to be honest. Oh, Veronica, interesting. Yeah, at first I thought that his story sounded believable, sounded plausible. And then I'm just like, nah, none of it sounds plausible. And I just think that JP and his attorney, I just think that they masterminded everything. I think there was so much freaking street theater. I think that that street theater was happening on the videos of the surveillance cameras at, was it called Dick's Pawn Shop? And I also think that it was like more street theater at the gas station. I think most of those people at the gas station were gang stalking Micah. Don't you? Oh, I just hope that JP Diddy gets his. I hope that he gets what R. Kelly got, basically, because he seems almost as bad, to be honest. Yes, feels like Hannah was sick of people taking a cut of her photos or dates on her own in Mexico. Hopefully, oh, Annie, you took it a step further. I had not even thought of that. But yeah, I really wonder with, like with the Idaho 4 people, the victims there, it's over time occurred to me that maybe they had OnlyFans pages that their sorority and their University of Idaho profited from, and that they wanted to get away from that and keep their own profits. Maybe. And maybe it's like a CULT. I can spell it correctly. I was spelling it CLUT last week. Maybe it's like one of those where you can't get out. You can't say, I'm done with this. You can't do that when you're in a gang. You can't do that when you're in a CULT. Allegedly, you can't do that in a sorority or a fraternity either. Right? I don't know. You can't do that when you're part of Solid Rock and JP Diddy is the owner of the church, right? He will hunt you down. He will hunt you down. Um, yeah, I think that Hannah was probably having a bit of a midlife crisis, being 30, being that she hadn't been married until this marriage to Alan, and that she probably didn't have kids and probably wanted to have kids, And maybe she had some fantasy that this fake marriage with Alan was going to turn into something real. And maybe Alan fed into that. And, I've heard rumors that Amun was jealous of Hannah's marriage to Alan. I've heard rumors that Hannah was jealous of Amun's marriage to Mariana. And what in the F is Mariana's last name? And how come we've never seen or heard her last name or a picture of her? Who is she? Who's protecting her? What family is she part of that she's being protected, that she's completely scrubbed as if she doesn't even exist? We will find out eventually, but doesn't the curiosity just get to you sometimes? Especially with the itinerary from the flights that has everybody's full name and which seats they were in. And she's not even on there, but all of the reports is that she was on the flight with them. So many freaking lies. So many freaking lies. And then how weird is it about the LeBron James connection and then with him quitting the NBA or stepping back from the NBA last week when he was just mentioned in Hannah's case. And I don't know if that stuff I was talking about with professional basketball players and women that are Hawaiian. And Hannah, her father was Japanese, so she was half Japanese and half Caucasian. There's a lot of people, a lot of guys that have a fetish for that, you guys. A lot of guys that have a fetish for that. Weezer even has a song about it. I think it's called El Scorcho. And it starts out cursing how the half Japanese girls do it to him every time. That like he's just like weak in the knees when it comes to the half Japanese girls. So that could well be a thing for Hannah's OnlyFans if she had OnlyFans, if she was part of that. And that could also be a thing for any connection with the basketball stuff. But she might need that PR person, Linda Luchetti, that the Rodney Neiman's hired, and that Sherry Papini hired, the concierge for the Utah Jazz basketball team. Hannah probably doesn't have enough money to, but she maybe could ask Linda Luchetti to volunteer to be a spin doctor for her. And real quick before I wrap up, because we're already at an hour and a half, I haven't looked at the video yet because I was so caught up with all of this Jay-Z and Aaliyah stuff all weekend. There's so much. And a channel that I really like, the two channels that I like the most that cover Meredith Kircher from Italy, from the horrible slaughter that Amanda Knox is accused in and implicated, in my opinion. Roberta Glass is one of those content creators, and True Crime Rocket Science is the other one. They both have done amazing deep dives on the story, on the case, and trying to get justice for Meredith Kircher and her family, and trying to get justice for Amanda Knox because she's gotten no justice at all. All she's done is exploit the death of Meredith. And over the weekend, Roberta Glass dropped a video. I'll put a link to it in the description, but I haven't watched it yet. But I trust that it's good because I don't think I've seen a bad video by her about Amanda Knox, about the Meredith Kircher case. She said the title of it is something like Amanda is feeling like she's been exploited by the media over this case. And it's like so infuriating because she has exploited Meredith Kircher's name ever since the night it happened. She's built a multi-million-dollar empire on it. She won't quit talking about it. I'm pretty sure at some point Meredith's family sent her a cease and desist order to never use Meredith's name, and she won't stop doing it. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check my sources. But anyway, I think that it's worth keeping that case alive because how gross it is that Amanda Knox continues to exploit Meredith. And then she's going to go cry foul and play the victim and say she's being exploited. Like, quit talking about it then, sister. Quit talking about it, you scumbag. Like, get a life. Like, she's got nothing else. Even though she's married and has kids now, she still won't quit talking about it. She won't quit writing about it. She won't quit cashing in on her fame that is not really fame. It's being infamous, which is very different than being famous, in my opinion. Anyway, there, I had to get that off my chest. Okay. It was found heads of Idaho girls on other girls' bodies, allegedly. OnlyFans photographers was photo shoot at a Southern sorority. Well, a lot of that type of photography is what they call Frankenstein images. You know, it's not just a single shot like it was in the old days. It's a bunch of, you know, photoshopped, basically. That's a way people get traffic is online too, right? Yeah, Veronica, good point. Right, you could call that trafficking, even if you're trafficking yourself, if it's your own channel. But I'm just curious how many of these OnlyFans channels the funds are not going directly to the person in the photographs, that the funds are going to someone else or they're being split. And I've always questioned about OnlyFans in Truckee, only because it was a thing in Trinity Backus's case with her auntie Ashley Bjorkland, Ashley Borkland, or something like that, and her mother Andrea Stanio. They both had the OnlyFans pages. For me, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it in my life, and then it was just like a week later that the Idaho 4 happened, and then it was shortly after that that the OnlyFans stuff started coming into question because of all those fetish, flirty, curated looking photographs of those adorable little college kids. And I like to share with you guys um, what put a bug in my ear about it with the Idaho 4 was Google, because I Googled sorority OnlyFans and Google said that they were like white on rice, that they were like peanut butter and jelly, that they go together. And I was like, oh, that's TMI. I didn't really want to know that, but okay, makes sense. So according to Google, sororities and OnlyFans go together. They don't come separate anymore. According to Google, you can look yourself and see what it says now. I mean, I think it gets edited all the time, right? Like anybody can edit it. So, what nationality was Alan? Alan was, let me say it wrong, Argentinian. Well, that's saying it right, but he was from Argentina instead of Argentina. Remember when I made that faux pas a week or so ago? So, yeah, Alan was from Argentina, and his girlfriend Mariana, with a name like Mariana, and her boyfriend being from Argentina, I'm going to guess very likely was from Argentina also, but we don't know that for sure. We don't know anything about her except that she existed. She was Alan's boyfriend. She was married to Amun, and that Hannah was allegedly jealous of her. But I just think that Hannah probably felt stabbed in the back by all three of them. Hence her post the day before the flight, where she said, Hell hath no fury, hell hath no wrath like a woman scorned. So, Fred, hola, we'll try to catch the first 90 minutes later. Alan has money. Well, allegedly, he'd already paid her 15 grand up front for the fake wedding, fake marriage, and then he was going to pay the rest eventually, allegedly. in that case, that would mean both that he had money and that he didn't have like an endless source of money, because otherwise he would have just paid her the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe there's other reasons for splitting it up. I mean, any amount of money over $10,000 usually gets flagged by the government, I think. If it's under 10,000, it can fly under the radar. Maybe they split it up. Maybe it was 15,000 that was split up into a couple of payments or a couple of accounts or something. So Hannah had been learning Spanish probably. Oh, interesting, Granny Annie. You're so smart. You are so smart. Let me look at my notes real quick and see if there is anything else that I wanted to fill in before I wrap up. So yeah, I want to underscore the photographs that you can find online quite easily of a 16-year-old Beyonce Knowles with Jay-Z when he was 12 years older than her. He was always 12 years older than her, right? Or am I doing my math wrong? No, he's 55 right now. I wrote down their birthdays. He's 55. She is a different age. Where did I write it down? I know I wrote it down. Come on. That's hilarious. Where did I write it down? Right here. She was born in 81. He was born in 69. So wait a second. Is that 14? No, that's 12. That's 12. Okay, 12 years. So he was 10 years older than Aaliyah. But I don't think I said how clearly it looks like Aaliyah and him were dating before he got super hot and heavy with Beyonce. There's a lot of photographs of him being super snuggly with Aaliyah. So Aaliyah's fiance at the time of her passing, Damon Dash, kind of skirts around it. He says that Jay-Z had a thing for Aaliyah. I mean, it sounds like everybody had a thing for Aaliyah. But again, when you're trying to make a successful music career, you can't go around rejecting the music moguls, can you? That doesn't fly. Contract saving portion for N, so she did it till he got citizenship. Contract saving portion for N, so she did it till he got citizenship. Oh, okay, so that she wouldn't like take the money and run. Yes, he will always be older. My parents said, when I am my brother's age, I could do what he does. He is always older than I. That's funny. So, yeah. And, you know, it's not that important, like that Jay-Z is 10 years older than Aaliyah if Aaliyah was 20 and Jay-Z was 30 when they were dating. Like at the time of Aaliyah's passing, she was 22. And Damon Dash, I think, was 7 or 8 years older. I think he was 7 years older, so he would have been 29. But it's all legal then. A difference between a 22-year-old and a 29-year-old is very, very different than, say, like a 12-year-old and a 19-year-old, right? And it seems as though Aaliyah and Beyonce were both breaking into music before they were 12, or by the time they were 12 or 13, they were fairly well established and on their way. So I'm just saying, I'm not accusing nobody of nothing. Just saying. So I'm going to wrap up. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. This is a long one, an hour and 45 minutes almost. That's exciting. I'm just thrilled. Like the last 10 weekdays, I've had 10 lives, 10 for 10. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it. You know, I really enjoy doing it and I really enjoy the consistency. So, thanks for being here. We'll hope for the best this week as it's getting closer to the holidays. Things might get a little screwy. I'll apologize in advance for that, and I will try to keep an even keel as much as I can because you guys mean a lot to me, and I really enjoy doing this. It helps me sort out my thoughts, my feelings, um, and it's just wonderful connecting with you guys and building this true crime community. So thanks. Early, long one. Oh, it was early, wasn't it? I actually started right at noon. I hit that button right at noon. So nobody could say I was late because the last one I did on Friday, I was like a minute or two late. And Shan's right there. You're late. So thanks a million, you guys. Thank you for being here. Have a fabulous week, getting off to a good start for a very productive week, hopefully for all of us. And as we're coming closer to the holidays, to me, it's just stressful. I try to chill, but I get very stressed out about the holidays and trying to do too much. So then I just try to not do too much, and then I feel like a slacker. So sometimes I think I'd be better off not celebrating it. But, I like to keep it simple. I like to just like do the worshiping of what it's all about, really. I like to really try to keep it simple. And that's hard with kids, although, that's kind of how our family's done it. That's our tradition. And, celebrate with healthy food, delicious food. Um, Today, celebrate with healthy, delicious food. Every day, celebrate with healthy and delicious food. And if you haven't tried my yoga routine and you're interested, just get a mat, a canvas belt, a few blocks or pillows. You don't have to have any of that stuff, but it can help. But seriously, the thing with yoga is you can do it on a towel without any equipment at all. You just have to make adjustments for it. So if you try the yin yoga routine that I've been curating, I think you'll really like it. It is phenomenal. I just get so much out of it, and I continue to try to make improvements on it. So, oh, and I just came up with one yesterday. Here, let's just do a quick little thing. When you're doing your little neck bend and you use your fingers to lightly put some pressure on your head and then move your head back and forth a little to massage those muscles, try putting your opposite hand onto the floor and you just get a little bit more of a stretch. And I'm going to put that adjustment into the routine. But I just thought of that yesterday, like why I hadn't thought of it earlier. Who knows? There's a lot to it. I mean, there's so many things to plug in. I mean, it seems so simple and straightforward, but there's probably like 300 ideas that I plugged into that routine. And it is pretty simple and straightforward in a way, but it just is phenomenal. And I hope that somebody other than me is getting something out of it because I get a lot out of it. And I just want to share that with you guys. I don't want to put any pressure on anybody to feel like they need to do it. I just think that you'd enjoy it. Even if you just want to try that little neck thing that I just showed you, it's like you just drop your ear to your shoulder and then apply a slight pressure, and then you can roll your head and neck back and forth slightly. And then, like, I'm not sitting on the ground, but you can, if you're sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground, you can put your fingers onto the floor. And man, it's cool. It is phenomenal. All right. So, love and light, empty nest. We do not celebrate. Oh, that's funny. But don't they want to come back for Christmas and stuff? Vegas this year, warm sand just isn't Christmas to me. I know. When I lived in Southern California, or when I've gone to Southern California for Christmas, it's really hard. Like, I don't mind going to the beach on Christmas. It just doesn't seem like Christmas. So, yeah, it's been really cold here in Ohio this December. It's been more like a February, like lots of cold weather in the teens and in the 20s. I bought a purple mat a year ago, 2025. I will unroll it. Baby steps. Yay! Yes. And I invested $100 into a really high quality mat a year and a half ago, and I'm so glad I did. It makes such a difference. I mean, any mat is good. I've got some $5 mats also, but the super expensive ones, they supposedly have like lifetime guarantees on them or something. I don't know because I have one that I bought like 10 years ago for $70 that I think had a lifetime guarantee on it, and it's kind of falling apart. So maybe I should see if it does have a lifetime guarantee on it because it was $75 10 or 15 years ago. That was a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money still today, right? You keep that cold up there. Yeah, Veronica, where are you? You're in like Alabama type of area. So, all right, I am going to sign off. Love and light. And I'll put all those links that I discussed in the description later on today. I won't be able to get to it right away. But just make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you stay well nourished. Make sure you stay relaxed and happy and just be yourself. Everybody else is already taken. Yes, Louisiana, Lower Alabama, LOL. Oh, you call Louisiana Lower Alabama because the part that's fun. That's funny. I'd never heard that. I love it. And I found out that people from Long Island don't call it Long Island. That's like a urban myth. Because I have a friend who's from Long Island, and I asked her after I mentioned it in one of my videos recently, and she was like, "That's a myth. That's an urban legend." And I was like, "Man, I'm glad I asked because I do like to fact check myself, right?" So, anybody who didn't know that, I mean, I've heard that for decades that people from Long Island pronounce the G. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like one of the cats is on the screen, so I better let them in. I don't think it's that cold today, but yeah, I did just hear a meow. Anyway, love and light, you guys. See you on the next one. And that is so funny. Can you hear it? Um, thanks again. Love you. See you soon.